Hi and hello everyone. Today we are going to study the practice set 1.2. The first question from this practice set 1.2, that is, given below are some triangles and length of line segments. Identify in which figure ray PM is the bisector of angle QPR. Here we have given three figures, and in each and every figure, in each and every diagram, we have given the length of the line segments of the triangle, and we have to determine whether ray PM is the bisector of angle QPR or not. Here we have first diagram. Here in this triangle PQR, we have to determine whether this ray PM is the bisector of this angle or not. Now, which property or which theorem or which converse we have to use here, that we have to determine first. In this lesson, we start with the properties of the ratios of the areas of two triangles. We have four properties, and since this question is not related with the properties, so we are not going to use that properties here. After that, we studied the basic proportionality theorem, and we cannot use the basic proportionality theorem here. It is very easy, since we have to prove that we have to determine that ray PM is the bisector or not. So definitely we have to use either the angle bisector theorem or the converse of angle bisector theorem. We do not have to think about the other concepts, just the concept related with the bisector, and we have angle bisector theorem and the converse of angle bisector theorem. Now, out of these two, which property we have to use here? In the theorem, in the angle bisector theorem, it is given that a ray bisects one of the angle of the triangle, and if a ray bisects one of the angle of the triangle, then the side opposite to angle and the remaining two sides divides proportionally. That is the angle bisector theorem. But here we have to determine whether PM is the bisector of angle QPR or not. Means definitely we have to use the converse of angle bisector theorem. Now here, due to this point M, if due to this point M, this side QR and the remaining two sides PQ and PR divides proportionally, then we are able to say that this ray PM is the bisector of angle QPR. We have one and only one way. We have to decide whether the ratio of the intercepts of the opposite side is equal to the ratio of the remaining two sides or not, that we have to determine here. And if the ratio of these two intercepts and these two remaining sides are equal, then we are able to say that PM is the bisector of angle QPR. So first we will write the information which we have available here. In this triangle PQR, in triangle PQR, we have QM is equal to 3.5, QM is equal to 3.5 units, RM is equal to 1.5 units, we have PQ is equal to 7 units, and we have PR is equal to 3 units. That is the information which we have available here. And now we have to find the ratio of these two intercepts, these two parts, that is QM upon RM, and we have to find the ratio of the remaining two sides, corresponding sides. Now here we will find the value of this ratio first, that is Qm upon Rm. So here we will write Qm upon Rm is equals to, the value of Qm is given 3.5 upon the value of Rm is given 1.5. Since the decimal sign is after one digit in the numerator and denominator both, so you can remove the decimal sign. Since the decimal sign is after one digit in the numerator also and into the denominator also, so you can delete this decimal sign. You can erase this decimal sign and directly you can write it as Qm upon Rm is equals to 35 upon 15. Since the decimal sign is after same digit, that is after one digit, so we remove that decimal sign and we write it as 35 upon 15. Now you can divide this by 5. Since 5 7s are 35, 5 3s are 15. Since the ratio is always written in the simplest form, we have Qm upon Rm is equals to 7 upon 3. We will represent it as equation 1. And now we have to find the ratio of the remaining two sides. Since we write this ratio as Qm upon Rm, while writing the another ratio, we have to think about the correspondence. That is very important thing. See, this ratio we write Qm upon Rm. So we have to start from this corresponding point. See, the corresponding side of this Qm is PQ. Here we have Qm and the corresponding side of this Qm is PQ. So here we have to write PQ into the denominator upon, now corresponding side of Rm and corresponding side of Rm is PR, since we can write PR here. Now put the values there. PQ is 7. It is very important how we write the first ratio. Suppose you write the first ratio as Rm upon Qm. While writing the first ratio, suppose you write Rm upon Qm. Then while writing the second ratio, you have to write that ratio as Rp upon PQ. That is very important thing. Corresponding ratio, according to correspondence, we have to write the sides in the ratio. Since we write this ratio as Qm upon Rm, we write this ratio as PQ upon PR. If we write this ratio as Rm upon Qm, then we can write this ratio as PR upon PQ. We have to check the correspondence into the diagram and now put the values. Since PQ upon PR, PQ is 7, PR is 3. And here this ratio is already in the simplest form. We cannot simplify this again. Since 7 and 3 both are prime numbers, we cannot divide 7 and 3 by any other number other than 1. Both are divided by 1. But if we divide both the numbers by 1, you will get the same ratio, that is 7 by 3, 7 upon 3. So it is already in the simplest form. No need to simplify this. We will represent it as equation 2. Now both the ratios are equal. See, the value of Qm upon Rm is 7 upon 3 and the value of PQ upon PR is also 7 upon 3. It means that due to this point M on this side QR divides this side QR and remaining two sides proportionally. So this PM is the bisector of this angle QPR, that is by using the converse of angle bisector property. Here we can write from equation 1 and 2. From equation 1 and 2, Qm upon Rm is equal to the PQ upon PR. That is from equation 1 and 2. See the equation 1 QM upon REM is 7 upon 3. Equation 2 PQ upon PR is 7 upon 3. Since the right side of both the equations are equal, we represent that LHS are also equal. And now if this QM upon RM is equal to PQ upon PR, it means that due to this point M, the side QR and the remaining two sides gets divide proportionally, since this PM is the bisector of angle QPR. So here we can write, therefore by using converse of angle bisector property, by using converse of angle bisector property, we can write that PM is the bisector of angle QPR. Ray PM is the bisector of angle QPR. Similarly, we have to solve the second and third example. No any change we have to make there. We have the same triangle, just shape of the triangle is going to change and these measurements are also going to change. Similarly, we have to solve the second and third example. We will take the second example. Second example from the first question. The question is the same. We have given a triangle PQR. We have also given the measurements of some line segments, and we have to determine whether the ray PM is the bisector of angle QPR or not. And again we have to use the same strategy. We are not going to use basic proportionality theorem or converse of basic proportionality theorem or the property of three parallel lines and their transversal, since the parallel lines are not there. When we observe the given diagram and the given information, at that time only we get that which property we have to use here. In the previous example also we studied that here we have to use either the angle bisector theorem or you can use the converse of angle bisector theorem. We cannot use the angle bisector theorem also. Definitely we have to use the converse of the angle bisector property or theorem only, since we have to determine whether PM is the bisector of angle QPR or not. Now we have to find the ratio of these two segments first and then the remaining two sides ratio we have to find, and if these two ratios are equal, then by using the converse of the angle bisector property, we are able to say that PM is the bisector of angle QPR. So first of all we will write the information which we have available here in triangle PQR. In triangle PQR is RM is equal to 6 units, that is QM is equal to 8 units. Since ratio has no unit, we are not writing the units here. Then PR is 7 units, and then we have PQ as 10 units. PQ is equal to 10, that is the given information. And now we have to find the value of this ratio first, RM upon QM, and then PR upon PQ. Now here it says RM upon QM is equals to RM upon QM is equals to RM is given 6 upon QM is given 8. Both are divisible by 2, so we will divide it by 2. This is 2 3s are 6, 2 4s are 8. So we have RM upon QM is equals to 3 upon 4. And now we cannot simplify this again, that is the simplest form of the ratio. So we will represent it as equation 1. And now we have to get the value of another ratio, since how we write the ratio RM upon QM, that we have to observe first and then we have to write the another ratio. Since this is RM upon QM, we have to start with this point R, that is RP upon PQ. So second ratio here we are going to write, or we are going to find, that is Rp upon PQ is equals to, Rp is given 7 and PQ is given 10. And see, this is the simplest form of the ratio, we cannot simplify it again, since 7 and 10 both are not divisible by any other number than 1, and if we divide it by 1 you will get the same ratio. So this is the simplest form of the ratio, we will represent it as equation 2. And now check whether these two ratios are equal or not, and we identify that both the ratios are not equal. It means that this PM is not the angle bisector of angle QPR. So here you can write this from equation 1 and 2, from equation 1 and 2, from equation 1 and 2, Rm upon Qm, Rm upon Qm is not equal to the Rp upon PQ, is not equal to the Rp upon PQ. So you can write PM is not the angle bisector of angle QPR. Therefore, PM is not the angle bisector of angle QPR. Ray PM is not the bisector of angle QPR. Here no need to write by using the converse of angle bisector property. If it is applied, then only we have to write that, and if it is not going to apply, so why we have to write that reason there, since that reason is not applied here. If these two ratios are equal, then we can write by using the converse of angle bisector property, PM is the bisector of angle QPR, but that property is not applied here. So we didn't write the name of the property there, directly we write Ray PM is not the bisector of angle QPR. Why not? Because Rm upon Qm is not equal to Rp upon PQ. So this is the second example. We write the answer of the second example here. Now we have one more example, that is third example from the same question, that is question number 1. Third example from the first question. The question is again same. We have to determine whether this ray PM is the bisector of angle QPR or not. So we will first write the measurement of the segments which we have available here. So we will write that part first. In triangle PQR, in triangle PQR, it is given that Rm is equal to 4, Qm is equal to 3.6 units, then we have PQ is equal to 9 units, and we have PR is equal to 10 units, and we have to determine whether PM is the bisector of angle QPR or not, and we have to use here the converse of angle bisector property, since we will first find this ratio, that is Rm upon Qm, and then we will find PR upon PQ. So first ratio we will find here, that is Rm upon Qm is equals to, Rm is given 4 upon Qm is given 3.6. First of all we will remove this decimal sign, and then we will reduce it, or we write it into the simplest form. So while removing this decimal sign from the denominator, if we remove that decimal sign, we will get 36 there. But since we remove this decimal sign after one digit, we have to put 10 at the numerator, that we get 40 there. So this is Rm upon Qm as it is. Rm upon Qm is equal to 40 upon 36. Now divide both the numerator and denominator by 4. Both the numerator and denominator are divisible by 4. So you can divide this, 4 1s are 4, 4 zeros are 0, or you can directly divide that 4 10s are 40 and this is 4 9s are 36. So we have Rm upon Qm is equals to 10 upon 9. That is equation 1. And now we will get the value of the second ratio, but while writing the second ratio, check the correspondence between the first ratio and second ratio. Here we have Rm upon Qm. Since here we have Rm, we have to write the corresponding side of Rm, that is Pr upon the corresponding side of Qm is Pq, that is 9. We have to put the values there. This is 10 upon 9. And here no need to simplify this, since that is the simplest form of the ratio. 10 and 9 both are not divisible by any other number than 1. So we will put this ratio as it is, since this is simplest ratio. Now check from equation 1 and 2, we get that both the ratios are equal, that is Rm upon Qm is equal to Pr upon Pq. So we can say that by using the converse of angle bisector property, this Pm is the bisector of angle QPR. So here we have to write from equation 1 and 2. From equation 1 and 2. From equation 1 and 2, we have Rm upon Qm is equal to Rm upon Qm is equals to Pr upon Pq. Pr upon Pq, that is from the equation 1 and 2. Now since this point M divides the seg QR and the remaining two sides proportionally, we are able to say that Pm is the bisector of angle QPR, but by using converse of angle bisector property. So here we will write therefore by using converse of angle bisector property. By using converse of angle bisector property, we are able to say that ray Pm is the bisector of angle QPR is the bisector of angle QPR. Here we complete the first question, which is depend upon the converse of the angle bisector property. Now we will take the second question from this practice set 1.2. Second question from practice set 1.2. The question is, in triangle PQR, Pm is equal to 15, PQ is equal to 25, PR is equal to 20, NR is equal to 8. State whether line NM is parallel to side RQ. Give a reason. And now here see, we have given some measurements, lengths of some sides, and we have to determine whether this NM is parallel to RQ or not. And here we have only one way, that is the converse of basic proportionality theorem. If this line MN, or you can say it as NM, divides these two sides proportionally, if this side NM divides these two sides PR and PQ proportionally, then we are able to say that this NM is parallel to RQ. And if this line MN or NM is not going to divide PR and PQ proportionally, then that line NM is not parallel to RQ. And that is known as converse of basic proportionality theorem. So we have to find the ratio Pn upon Nr, and then we have to find the ratio Pm upon Mq. If those two ratios are equal, then NM is parallel to RQ. And if suppose those two ratios are not equal, then NM is not parallel to RQ. It is very simple. If this line NM proportionally divides PR and PQ, that is Pn upon Nr is equal to Pm upon Mq. Since we have to find the first ratio, that is Pn upon Nr, and then we have to find the value of Pm upon Mq, and then we have to observe whether the values are equal or not. If the values are equal, then this line Nm is parallel to Rq, and if the ratios are not equal, if the values are not equal, then this Nm is not parallel to Rq. But first we have to observe whether we know all these sides, that is Pn, Rn, Pm, Qm, and if it is not given, then we have to find the sides, we have to find these segments Pn, Nr, Pm and Mq first, and then we will get the values of ratios. So here first we will write whatever the information we have available here. This is in triangle PQR, in triangle PQR. See the structure of writing the answer once again. Observe the structure. While writing the answer, every time we are first plotting the diagram, then we are writing the given information, and then using the appropriate concept, we are solving the given example. That is very important criteria. First draw the diagram. Sometimes students are not going to draw the diagram. You have to draw the diagram each and every time. It will convenient for the person or for the teacher who is going to check your answer. If the diagram is there in front of answer, or answer is written below the diagram, it is easy for the teacher who is going to check that answer. So always we have to draw the diagram there. Sometimes students are not going to draw the diagram, just they are going to write the answer, but that is inconvenient for the teacher who is going to check your answer. So if you want to get maximum marks, then you have to plot the diagram there. See, there are no marks for the diagram, but that is convenient for the teacher who is going to check the answer. And if you make it inconvenient by not drawing that diagram, so definitely you will get some or less marks. Whether they can less your marks, definitely they are going to less your marks if they get chance. But your paper is appropriate, each and everything is up to date. Sometimes if you get minor mistake, at that time also they are neglecting that minor mistake, and they are giving full marks to you if the paper is up to date. That is, paper presentation is very important. So you have to take care about that. Every time we have to draw the diagram. Here diagram we have. Now we have to write the given information. In triangle PQR we have given PM is equals to 15. Then we have given PQ is equal to 25. We have given PR is equal to 20. And we have also given NR is equal to 8. But we have to find, we have to know is Pn, Nr, Pm and Qm. Check whether Pn is given or not. Pn is not given. So how we can find Pn? See, Rn is given or not? See, Rn is given, that is 8. Rn is given 8. Then Pm is given 15. This part is given 15 Pm. Then PQ is given 25. This total segment PQ is given 25. Now you can subtract this 15 from 25 and you will get this distance QM, and it should be 10. That is 25 minus 10, using the relation of betweenness. M is in between P and Q. So you can easily get this QM. Then here we know PR. PR is given 20. Here PR is given 20. And subtracting this 8 from this 20, you will easily get the length of segment Pn, and it will be 12 units. So you have to write that part here. Some segments we know and some segments we have to find. Do not directly write the ratio, since we do not know the measurement of the segments which includes in the ratio, we have to find them first and then we will use the ratios and then we will find the values of the ratios. So here first of all we have to find the Pn. So you can write here n is in between P and R. Directly you can write Rn plus Pn is equal to Pr. Rn plus Pn is equal to Pr, and the reason is n is in between P and R. N is in between P and R. Using the relation of betweenness, you can write Rn plus Pn is equal to Pr. Put the values there. Rn is given 8 plus Pn we have to find. So Pn as it is, and it is equal to Pr, that is given 20. Now transfer this 8 to the right side and you will get Pn is equal to 20 minus 8, that is Pn is equal to 12 units. No need to write unit there since we have to find the ratios. Now here we find Pn, now Qm is remaining. So we have to use this ratio. So this relation of betweenness. For finding this ratio we have to find Qm, and for finding Qm we have to use the relation of betweenness, that is m is in between P and Q. So simply you can write Pm plus Qm, it is equal to Pq. So here we will write Pm plus Qm, it is equals to Pq, and the reason is m is in between P and Q. M is in between P and Q. Now put the values. Pm is given 15, Qm we have to find, so Qm as it is equal to Pq, that is given 25. Now transfer this 15 to the right side and you will get Qm is equal to 25 minus 15, that is Qm is equal to 10. And now we can easily find this ratio Pn upon Nr and this ratio Pm upon Mq. If those two ratios are equal, then Nm is parallel to Qr, and if the ratios are not equal, then Nm is not parallel to Rq. Now here we have to find this ratio first, Pn upon Nr. Here we will write Pn upon Nr is equals to the value of Pn that we find, it is 12, upon Nr is given, that is 8. Both are divisible by 4, so you can divide numerator and denominator by 4. 4 3 is 12, 4 2 is 8. Since we have Pn upon Nr is equal to 3 upon 2, represent it as equation 1. Represent it as equation 1. Now we have to find this ratio. Since we write this ratio as Pn upon Nr, we have to write this ratio as Pm upon Mq. Now here Pm upon Mq is equals to Pm upon Mq is equals to the value of Pm is given 15, value of Qm we find, that is 10. Now both are divisible by 5, is 5 3 is 15, 5 2 is 10. Since we have Pm upon Mq is equals to 3 upon 2, that is the second equation. And now from equation 1 and 2 we find that Pn upon Nr is equal to Pm upon Mq. Both the ratios are equal from equation 1 and 2. From equation 1 and 2 we find that Pn upon Nr is equal to Pn upon Nr is equal to Pm upon Mq. It means that this line Nm divides the two sides Pr and Pq proportionally. So by using the converse of basic proportionality theorem, we are able to say that Nm is parallel to the side Rq. So here we will write the reason first. By using converse of basic proportionality theorem, by using converse of basic proportionality theorem, by using the converse of basic proportionality theorem, this Nm is parallel to side Rq. Line Nm is parallel to the side Rq. That is what we have to determine. We determined that This NEM is parallel to RQ. So this is all about the second question. Now we will take the third question from the practice set 1.2. Practice set 1.2, third question. The question is, in triangle MENP, NQ is the bisector of angle N. If MEN is equal to 5, PN is equal to 7, MQ is equal to 2.5, then find QP. That is the question. We have given the diagram also. In triangle MENP, this QN is the bisector of angle N. That is the given information. Now if we read the question carefully, you can easily understand that we have to use the angle bisector property here. Since the given information is QN is the bisector of angle N, so definitely we have to use the angle bisector property there. We are not going to use the basic proportionality theorem. We are not going to use the converse of angle bisector theorem. We are not going to use the converse of basic proportionality theorem also. So what we have to use there, that is very important thing. And since it is given that this QN is the bisector of this angle N, we can use only the angle bisector property to find this segment QP. We do not have any other option. It is too easy. For example, suppose समजा तुम्हाला एखादा पदार्थ बनवण्यासाठी एक जनरली समजा तुम्हाला रवा आणि त्याच्यासोबत साखर अशा काही वस्तू दिल्या, तर हे निश्चित आहे की रवा आणि साखर दिली याचा अर्थ आपल्याला शिरा बनवायचा आहे. पण सपोज तुम्हाला रवा दिलेला आहे आणि त्याच्यासोबतच तिखट, मीठ, हळद, आणखीन शेंगदाणे वगैरे असे काही वस्तू तुम्हाला दिलेले आहे, तर डेफिनेटली इथं निश्चित होतं की आपल्याला उपमा किंवा ज्याला आपण उपीट असं म्हणतो ते बनवायचं आहे. ते जितकं इझी आहे तितकंच हे सुद्धा इझी आहे. तुम्हाला कोणत्या वस्तू दिल्यात त्यावरून आपल्याला काय बनवायचं हे जसं आपण ठरवू शकतो. सपोज तुम्हाला साखर, दूध आणि त्याच्यासोबत कॉफी दिली, तर हे निश्चित आहे की आपल्याला कॉफी बनवायची, आपण चहा बनवू शकणार नाही. फॉर एक्झाम्पल साखर, दूध आणि त्याच्यासोबत आपल्याला टी पावडर, चहापत्ती दिली, तर स्वाभाविक आहे की आपल्याला चहा बनवायचा आहे. हे निश्चित आहे. आपल्याकडं असणारे अवेलेबल असणारी जी इन्फॉर्मेशन आहे त्यापासून आपण हे निश्चित करू शकतो की एक्झॅक्टली आपल्याला काय बनवायचं आहे. तसं इथं सुद्धा वॉट एव्हर दी गिवन इन्फॉर्मेशन इज टू यू इन दी क्वेश्चन, फ्रॉम दॅट इन्फॉर्मेशन यू कॅन इझिली गेट विच प्रॉपर्टी और विच थेरम और which converse we have to use there. So whatever the given information is there in the question, that is very important. So read the question carefully, and then decide which concept we have to use there. Now if we read the question carefully, here we have given that NQ is the bisector of angle N. Since we are able to use the angle bisector property there to find this side QP, so we will use the angle bisector property and we will find the length of segment QP. So first of all we will write the information which we have available here. First we draw the diagram. Now we will write the given information. In this diagram it is given that in triangle MENP, it is given that we have given some measurements first. We will write the measurements first, that is MEN is equal to 5, PN is equal to 7, we have given MQ is equal to 2.5, and we have to find the QP, so we write QP is equal to question mark. And since we have to use this information, we do not write that information first. Now we will write that information and instantly we will use that information. Here NQ is bisector of N. NQ is the bisector of angle N, that is the given information. And now just we write the information and we have to use the same information. So here you can write by using angle bisector property. By using angle bisector property. How to use the angle bisector property? That is very important. We studied this property with proof, but there we didn't study how to write that property. Now first of all we know that by using angle bisector property, if NQ is the bisector of this angle N, then the opposite side of the angle N, that is PM, and the remaining two sides are gets divides proportionally. So how we write this first ratio? It is depend upon that first ratio how to write the second ratio. If you write the first ratio as MQ upon QP, MQ upon QP, suppose you write the first ratio like this, MQ upon QP. While writing the second ratio, since see the adjacent side of MQ or the corresponding side of MQ is MN, so we have to write MN into the numerator, and then we have to write PN into the denominator. That is very important thing. How we write the first ratio? Depending upon the first ratio, we have to write the second ratio. Since we write the first ratio as MQ upon QP, we have to write the second ratio as MN upon NP. So here we write MN upon NP. Suppose we write this ratio as PQ upon QM. If we write the first ratio as PQ upon QM, then the second ratio you have to write it as PN upon NM. Is PN upon NM. How we write the first ratio? That is very important. Depending upon that first ratio, we have to write the second ratio taking corresponding sides of the numerator and denominator. Here corresponding side of MQ is MN and corresponding side of QP is PN. Now put the values there and find the segment which we have to find, that is QP. Now here MQ is given 2.5, so we write here 2.5. QP as it is, since we have to find the length of segment QP. MN is given 5 and NP is given 7. And now you can easily find the length of the segment QP. Now here we will take the cross multiplication, since we will get QP into 5 is equal to 2.5 into 7. QP into 5 is equal to 2.5 into 7. Since we have to find QP, we will transfer this 5 to the right side. Now since it is there in the product, it will went into the division. So we will get QP is equal to 2.5 multiplied by 7 divided by 5. Now we can divide this 2.5 by 5, or simply you can remove this decimal sign, since QP is equals to, this decimal sign is removed since we get 25 there, and since we remove the decimal sign from the numerator, into the denominator we have to put 10. Here this decimal sign is after one digit and we remove it, so we take 10 here in the denominator. Now see this 25 1s are 25, 25 2s are 50. We have QP is equal to 7 by 2, which is equals to QP is equal to 2 3s are 6. Now 1 is remaining there and we put decimal sign here and we take 0 on 1, that is you will get 10. Since 2 5s are 10, we have half of 7, that is 3.5 units. Now this is very important to write the unit. If it is all the sides are given in centimeter, then we have to write here centimeter. If all the given sides are in meter, then we have to write here meter. And if the unit is not given there, then we have to write unit only there. So we have QP is equal to 3.5 units. So this is all about the third question from the practice set 1.2. Here we complete the third question. Now we will take the fourth question from the practice set practice set 1.2. Now we have to take the next question, that is question number 4. Question number 4 from the practice set 1.2, that is measures of some angles are given in the figure. Prove that AP upon PB is equal to AQ upon QC. We have to prove that AP upon PB is equal to AQ upon QC. And now here we will get that we can prove this. This is AP upon PB is equal to AQ upon QC if and only if we prove that this PQ is parallel to BC. If we prove that this PQ is parallel to BC, then by using the basic proportionality theorem, definitely we can write this statement AP upon PB is equal to AQ upon QC. That is very important thing. When it will be get proved, if and only if this PQ is parallel to BC, otherwise that is not possible to prove that AP upon PB is equal to AQ upon QC. That is the basic proportionality theorem. Some students directly writing by using basic proportionality theorem. When we are able to use the basic proportionality theorem, if and only if a line is parallel to a side of the triangle, otherwise we are unable to use the basic proportionality theorem. If we prove that this PQ is parallel to BC, that is not given information. That is not given PQ is parallel to BC. It is given that this angle APQ is 60 degree and angle ABC is 60 degree. So definitely this PQ is parallel to BC since the corresponding angles made by the transversal of two lines are congruent. See, these two lines are AB and AC are the two lines, and this is this transversal PQ which is intersecting them. These two lines are AB and AC, and PQ is intersecting them, and we have to prove that AP upon PB is equal to AQ upon QC. And it can be proved if and only if this is parallel to BC. If this PQ is parallel to BC, then we are able to say that AP upon PB is equal to AQ upon QC. And see, this is the given information. It is already given that corresponding angles are congruent since these two lines are parallel to each other. And if these two lines are parallel to each other, then we can write by using basic proportionality theorem AP upon PB is equal to AQ upon QC. So first of all, we will write the given information, whatever the given information we have. This is in the above figure. In the above figure, see, here we have two triangles APQ, ABC. So we are not going to write the name of triangle there. Just we can write in the above figure angle APQ is equal to 60 degree and angle ABC is equal to 60 degree. That is the given information. Now see, both the angles are having equal measures. We can directly write here angle APQ is equal to angle ABC. Both the angles are congruent. That is the given information. Both the angles are having equal measures, so they are equal to each other. Angle APQ congruent angle ABC, and these are the corresponding angles and they are congruent. That is the given information. And we know that if the corresponding angles made by a transversal of the two lines, not parallel, if the two corresponding angles made by a transversal of the two lines are congruent with each other, then those two lines are parallel to each other. Here two lines are PQ and BC and their transversal is APB. Here two lines are PQ and BC and their transversal is APB. And these two are the corresponding angles and they are congruent. That we prove, or that is the given information. So here you can write, therefore by using converse of corresponding angles theorem, by using converse of corresponding angles theorem, or simply we can write there by using corresponding angles test. By using corresponding angles test. Converse is not the word there, but we can write by using converse of corresponding angles theorem, or you can write by using corresponding angles test. Since we use the converse is test is there. We studied this part in the 8th standard also, second lesson from the mathematics, 8th standard mathematics, that is parallel lines, and we studied this part there. By using the corresponding angles test, we are able to say that PQ is parallel to BC. So here you can write sec PQ is parallel to side BC. And now by using the basic proportionality theorem, we are able to write AP upon PB is equal to AQ upon QC. So here you can write by using basic proportionality theorem. Since AP upon PB is equal to AQ upon QC. AP upon PB is equals to AQ upon QC. That is what we have to prove. We have to prove that AP upon PB is equal to AQ upon QC, and we prove it. We prove that by using the basic proportionality theorem. But before using the basic proportionality theorem, we have to prove that PQ is parallel to BC, and we prove that by using the given information. So this is all about the question number 4. Now we will study the question number 5.